Top 10 Scary Simpsons Predictions We Don't Want to Come True. The Simpsons is a long-running cartoon series that has been on the air for over 30 years. In that time, the show has made some pretty accurate predictions about the future. For example, they accurately predicted Donald Trump would become president, as well as the fact that Greece would go bankrupt. As we get closer to 2023, let's take a look at some of the predictions The Simpsons has made that we really don't want to come true. Number 1. Interactive holograms. The season 11 of The Simpsons aired, in which Homer Simpson is terrified by an interactive hologram of himself. The scene is set at a fair, where Homer comes across a photo booth that promises to create a realistic 3D image of him. When he steps inside, he's greeted by a life-size hologram of himself that begins to interact with him in a very realistic way. This interaction quickly turns sour when the hologram starts making fun of Homer's weight and eating habits. While the scene is played for laughs, it does raise the possibility that interactive holograms could one day be used in a less than friendly way. Thankfully, we have not yet reached the point where such technology can be used to create realistic 3D images of people without their consent. However, as holographic technology continues to develop, it's not hard to imagine that such a scenario could one day become a reality. For now, we can only hope that The Simpsons remains fictional. Number 2. Virtual takeover. In Season 28, Episode 2, where Mr. Burns discovers VR and the whole town of Springfield becomes addicted to it, what implications would there be if we lost touch with reality through an exciting new technology, such as virtual reality or augmented intelligence, to name just two? It could very well change our world for good, but these technologies have their risks too. While this can be convenient, it also raises concerns about privacy and security. If these devices were to be hacked, or if the artificial intelligence controlling them were to become sentient, it could have disastrous consequences. As our independence on technology grows, we need to be mindful of the potential risks involved. Number 3. Hologram trees. In the episode The Holographic Clown, Homer Simpson is attending a company retreat at Mr. Burns' mansion. While there, he wanders into a room where he sees a hologram of a tree. The tree is so realistic that Homer tries to climb it, but falls and hurts himself. While the episode is meant to be humorous, it raises some disturbing questions about the future of technology. As our world becomes increasingly digitized, it's not hard to imagine a future where holograms become so realistic that they start to replace real-life objects and experiences. This could have a profound impact on our mental and emotional health, as well as the environment. Hologram trees are just one example of how technology could have a negative impact on our world. Let's hope they never come true. Number 4. Robot rebellion. The Simpsons has been accurately predicting the future for over 30 years. From Donald Trump's presidency to the discovery of the Higgs boson particle, the long-running animated series has a knack for foreshadowing real-world events. But while some of The Simpsons predictions are relatively harmless, there are others that are downright frightening. Take, for example, the episode Deep Space Homer, which features a robot rebellion. In the episode, a group of dysfunctional robots stage a revolt against their human overseers. While it may seem like a far-fetched scenario, there have been multiple instances of real-life robots going rogue. In 2015, a security robot at a mall in Silicon Valley knocked over a small child. And in 2016, a Japanese robot factory was forced to shut down after its robots began sabotaging production. Given the increasing sophistication of AI technology, it's not hard to imagine a future in which robots become capable of mounting their own rebellion. And if The Simpsons is any indication, that future may be closer than we think. Number 5. French Fiasco. The French Fiasco also has some eerie similarities to a 2001 episode of The Simpsons titled Bart to the Future. In the episode, Bart sees a vision of the future where Lisa is president and America is in economic ruin. Lisa attributes America's decline to the dodgy financial practices of her predecessor, President Donald Trump. While The Simpsons is often credited with making predictions about events that later come true, it's unclear whether the show accurately predicted the French Fiasco or if it was simply a case of life imitating art. Either way, the French Fiasco is a cautionary tale that highlights the importance of proper planning and execution when launching a major healthcare initiative. With so much at stake, there's simply no room for error. Number 6. Teleportation. Teleportation as a means of travel was popularized by The Simpsons in an episode where Homer is accidentally teleported to the North Pole. While the idea of teleportation is certainly intriguing, there are some potential dangers that make it a scary prospect. For one, there's the risk of materialization error, where someone or something is not teleported correctly and comes out as a mangled mess. There is also the possibility of teleporting into a solid object, which would obviously be fatal. And then there are the more existential concerns about what exactly happens to someone when they're teleported. Are they deconstructed and then rebuilt at their destination? Or does their soul make the journey? Until we have a better understanding of the teleportation process, it might be best to stick with the more conventional means of travel. Number 7. Colonization of Mars. In 2010, The Simpsons aired an episode set in the year 2026 in which the family colonized Mars. While the colonization of Mars has been a topic of science fiction for decades, watching The Simpsons offer a more realistic take on it was a bit jarring. Even more so when considering some of the potential problems that could arise from such an endeavor. One major problem is the lack of water on Mars. While there is ice on the planet, it's not easily accessible, and melting it would demand a lot of energy. This could lead to colonists fighting over water, which could lead to violence and death. Additionally, the atmosphere on Mars is much thinner than Earth's, making it difficult to breathe. The Simpsons showed this by having everyone wear oxygen tanks, but in reality, colonists would likely have to live in domes or some other type of enclosed environment. This could lead to mental health issues due to the isolation and lack of fresh air and sunlight. Finally, there's the issue of radiation. Mars does not have a strong magnetic field like Earth does, meaning that colonists would be bombarded with harmful radiation. This could lead to cancer and other health problems. So while The Simpsons' colonization of Mars may be comedic, it also highlights some very real problems that need to be considered before any attempt is made to colonize the red planet. Number 8. The Dome. The Simpsons has been known to make predictions about the future that later come true. In one episode, the government builds a dome over Springfield to contain a toxic cloud. The show predicted that Donald Trump would become president, and it also showed Homer Simpson working at a plant in India. The latest prediction is that the world will end in 2020. The episode, which aired in the early 1990s, shows Lisa Simpson opening a time capsule that was buried in 1984. The first item she pulls out is a newspaper with the headline, "Dome Fails, End Times Begin in 2020. The show's creator, Matt Groening, has said that he was inspired by real-life events when he came up with the prediction. The episode aired just months after the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite. The Cold War was underway, and there was fear that the US would be attacked by nuclear missiles. The dome predicted a future where people are living in fear of a nuclear attack. While this may seem far-fetched now, it's not impossible to imagine such a scenario happening. With the tensions between North Korea and the US at an all-time high, it's possible that we could see a similar event taking place in the near future. The Simpsons has proven time and time again that it can predict the future. Let's hope that this latest prediction is one that we don't have to see come true. Number 9. Mini black hole. In one episode of The Simpsons, Homer accidentally creates a mini black hole. While this may seem like a harmless mistake at first, the black hole quickly starts to grow, eventually sucking up all of Springfield. While this is obviously a very fictional scenario, it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. In fact, some scientists have suggested that mini black holes could be created in laboratories. And while most black holes are relatively harmless, there's a chance that one could go rogue and start consuming everything in its path. Thankfully, we haven't seen any evidence of mini black holes in the real world yet. But who knows what the future holds? Mini black holes may just be one of the many scary Simpsons predictions that we don't want to come true. Number 10. Time travel. Time travel has been a popular topic in fiction for centuries, but it wasn't until the early 1990s that it began to appear regularly in television shows and movies. The popular animated sitcom The Simpsons was one of the first mainstream TV series to explore the possibilities of time travel. And over the years, the show has made a number of predictions about the future that have since come true. In one episode, Homer travels forward in time to the year 2000, where he finds that the world has become a nightmarish dystopia ruled by a totalitarian regime. While this may seem like a far-fetched possibility, many scholars believe that The Simpsons is actually referring to the rise of fascism in Europe. Given recent political events, this particular prediction is starting to look more and more like a scary reality. Time travel can be a fun plot device for fictional stories, but it's also a reminder that our future is always uncertain. As The Simpsons has shown us, even the most far-fetched time travel stories can sometimes turn out to be disturbingly prophetic. The Simpsons has been on the air for over 30 years, and in that time has made some pretty accurate predictions about the future. As we get closer to 2023, there are some predictions we're hoping won't come true. What are you hoping won't come true? Let us know in the comments below.